born in 1835 in Naples, New York, down at the end of the Canandaigua Lake. At 2 years old, I moved to Canandaigua, and when I was about 20, my father was elected governor of New York State, so we had to move to the capital, Albany. It was there in Albany that I found my true love, Mr. Frederick Ferris Thompson, and like I said, we were married in 1857. This is my summer home. Sonneberg Mansion it was called. Now, my husband and I actually resided on Madison Avenue in New York City. All the greatest fashion was always there, but I always like to escape to my hometown. I always like to escape to my hometown every summer in Canandaigua. So, when Frederick and I first purchased this land, it was in 1863. It was just an old farmhouse. And in 1885, we finally had all the architecture ready to build this gorgeous home. It was a Queen Anne style mansion on 52 acres of land. I absolutely loved gardening, and I had all the land in the world that I could need for my gardening. There were 40 rooms in this mansion, and it was located at what is now 151 Charlotte Street in Canandaigua. Like I was saying, the gardens were beautiful, and they were designed between 1902 and 1919, and that's when they were built.
That's the house?
Yeah.
It looks just like Yado.
Okay, in 1890, I had some very wealthy friends. The Vanderbilts.
I'll catch it.
Yeah.
I like the snap.
The Vanderbilts were my good friends. Now, I had very many friends coming in from out of town, and I needed a place for them to be able to enter town. So, talking and negotiating with my Vanderbilt friends, I had them build this train station, which is still standing today. I don't mean to brag, but my husband and I were very wealthy, and I paid for all the landscaping to be done around this place to help the Vanderbilts out. These are two other things that I funded. In 1900, I decided that the elderly people in Canandaigua needed a good place to stay. So over here, I have a picture of the Clark Manor adult home, which still stands today and is used just for that purpose. A lot of my parents' friends that were actually living in that when it was built, and it's right next to Sonneberg, the mansion, so it's wonderful. I could visit people that I knew. And this is actually a chapel that was built in Woodlawn Cemetery, where my whole family and I were buried later. 1902, I know this looks a little goofy. This is a park. This is a park that is located right across the street from my mansion. Now, over here, and where you can't see in the picture, there's a whole park. It's called Sonneberg Park, named after the mansion, that I paid to have fields built, playgrounds built, and it was always housed for rec programs and for children to play.
Where did you find a picture like this?
Colby, no. This is where I work,
Oh.
and this is where we did a fundraiser, and we dressed up the boys. We dressed up the boys and did a fundraiser to earn money for like the local food shelter. So then they had to play, of course, the rest was filled with their dresses. Those are my crowns, by the way. Okay, in 1904, it was after my dear beloved Frederick died. I decided to donate and pay for a hospital in his name. This hospital was called F.F. Thompson Hospital, for my husband. It housed 32 beds, a maternity annex, a homeland training program for nurses, contagious disease annex, and 2 laboratories. Now this was unheard of for all of this huge medical thing to be built right in our little small town of Canandaigua, but I made it possible. 1910, here we see a picture of the post office. In 1908, the village decided that they needed more room for a post office to be built. More mail was coming in and out of the town, out of the village as it was growing. So I decided to help the village out, and I purchased the land for this huge, massive building to be built on. I donated $155,000 to the site and lended my architect to help design the building. Charlotte Street, this is such a beautiful place. And right along this wall right here is the border of the mansion. I actually myself planted all these sycamore trees lining the street, and the village offered for me to be able to name the street, so I named it Charlotte Street after my sister. In 1913, as you can see, this is a beautiful building located on Main Street still today. This was where we found out that the Historical Museum would be housed along with Wood Library. I had a true passion for reading, as I had a huge library in my house. So we decided this would house the National Museum and Wood Library. here is a true, beautiful building. It was called the Canandaigua Hotel. And it was built way before my time, but it was one of the most beautiful, precious treasures in all of Canandaigua. And in 1920, it was up for sale. Now, many of my friends stayed here when they came for the summer, my overflow guests. It couldn't fit in my house, so that's true. So I decided to purchase it because I did not want this building to fall in the wrong hands. This was actually located right next to the train station that my friends at Vanderbilt built. Perfect for my friends to stay. In addition, like I said earlier, now I'm not trying to brag about any of this. I think that it's very important that children who are growing up in Canandaigua and the whole Finger Lakes region understand the things that my husband and I try to do to lend ourselves to the community. We also donated many dollars to the Women's Hospital, which is now St. Luke's, and all of these different organizations and museums.
I would say your hospital.
Oh, well, you're lucky you have me then, aren't you? Today, Son of Our Gardens is a historical state park. It's open to the public every day. There's 11 well-maintained, beautiful gardens that I would love. I just love to look at every day from the grave. Host the Finger Lakes Wine Center. There are weekly events hosted. People have wedding receptions and ceremonies there. I went there for my prom pictures, beautiful things. There's daily tours, and they make use of volunteers like my grandma, who lended me this beautiful costume for funding and restorations and everything of the sort. So.
Yeah, wrap it up. Oh.